The final patient. It started as a stupid dare. 6 college friends, high on the thrill of graduation and drunk on cheap vodka, decided to spend the night at Ashpine General Hospital, a decaying husk of a building tucked deep in the woods. It had been abandoned since the early 90s, after a mysterious fire in the West Wing killed several patients and staff. Since then, urban legends had turned it into a haunted hotspot. There was talk of experiments in the psych ward, ghostly wails from the burn unit, and flickering lights in rooms with no electricity. But to Jake, Lisa, Andre, Kim, Sarah, and Todd, it was just another thrill. "I bet none of you can stay until sunrise," Jake grinned, his flashlight beam dancing across the warped linoleum floors. They all accepted, each secretly determined not to be the first to back out. The hospital smelled like mildew, rot, and something metallic, like blood and rust had seeped into the walls. The group set up a makeshift base in the old waiting room. Sleeping bags, snacks, and a couple of candles were the extent of their preparedness. But Jake had other plans. He found a dusty patient file near the nurse's station. Harlan case, room 311. "What's so special about this one?" Lisa asked. "Dunno," Jake shrugged. "But it says do not move patient. That's gotta mean something." Curiosity led them to the 3rd floor, where peeling wallpaper and shattered windows made everything look like a horror movie set. Room 311's door was jammed. Andre forced it open with a shoulder slam. The room was empty. No furniture, just a thick stain on the floor and a rusted metal tag nailed to the wall. "Harlan case, 317-91. "That's the night of the fire," Sarah whispered. Todd pointed to the tag. "That's not a wall plate, that's a toe tag." They laughed it off, pretending not to be spooked. But as the night deepened, things started to change. First, the lights flickered. Not just the ones on their flashlights, overhead lights. The ones that shouldn't even have power blinked like dying fireflies. Then the whispers started. Faint, unintelligible murmurs that seemed to come from the vents. Lisa thought it was Jake messing with them. But then Jake screamed. They found him convulsing in the hallway, eyes rolled back. He kept muttering one word. "Harlan, Harlan." By the time they carried him back downstairs, Andre was missing. No one saw him leave. They searched every room, every corridor. The elevators were dead, and the stairwell was freezing, so cold it fogged their breath even though it was summer. In the pediatric ward, they found handprints smeared in ash on the glass. Small handprints. Sarah vomited. Todd started praying. Kim, the most rational of the group, thought they'd triggered some kind of mass hallucination. Carbon monoxide, maybe, she theorized. "We need to get out." But the main doors wouldn't budge, not jammed, sealed. Then Lisa found a locked file cabinet in the basement morgue. A crowbar from maintenance cracked it open. Inside were dozens of patient files, all dated March 1991, all marked deceased, all with the same cause of death, experimental sedation therapy. Kim flipped through the records. They weren't killed in the fire, they were already dead. "And covered it up?" Sarah asked, trembling. "Worse. The fire was started to hide the evidence." By midnight, only Lisa, Kim, and Sarah remained. Jake was comatose. Todd had vanished chasing Andre's voice, and something was breathing behind the X-ray curtain. They ran, ending up on the 3rd floor again, in front of room 311. The door was wide open now. The stain on the floor pulsed, actually pulsed like it was breathing. And above it hung something new, a photo. Lisa approached it. 6 figures in hospital gowns, faces blurred but unmistakable. Them. The names underneath were chilling. Lisa Granger admitted 31791. Kim Alvarez admitted 31791. Sarah Miles admitted 321791. They backed away. Lisa clutched her chest. "We weren't even born in 1991. Then a voice, clear and male, echoed from the hallway. "That's what you think." The door slammed shut behind them. The room went black. And then light, blinding white, sterile. They were lying in beds hooked to IVs, restrained, doctors murmured behind glass. Sedative levels are stable. Their delusions are still strong, but we're making progress. Lisa screamed, but no sound came out. Kim fought her restraint. Sarah cried. A man in a white coat entered. His badge read Dr. H. Case. He smiled. "You've come a long way since the fire, but it's time to let go of the fantasy." 3 patients died in Ashpine General's psych wing fire of 1991. Harlan case was never found. The hospital was closed after the scandal, but whispers remained. No bodies were ever recovered from the fire. And sometimes, on quiet nights, the lights on the third floor still flicker, as if the final patient never left.